So this is kind of my Crown Victoria story. I got this Crown Vic in about 2006 or so. It was after I paid off my Ford Focus, and my intention was to start my own ground transportation business, but that didn't work out so well. California wants too much money. I bought this car in California. It only had 39,000 miles on it. It's got 139,000 miles on it now. And it's been from California to Western Kentucky. And then while we were in Western Kentucky, it went halfway to Amarillo about, I don't know, at least twice a year for 7 years, hauling kids. The whole time it's always gotten 23 miles to the gallon. I had a chance to run it at the Paducah racetrack. I forget the name of the track, but it ran 16 seconds, or it ran 10 seconds flat in the 8th mile. They don't have a quarter mile out there. And it's still getting 23 miles a gallon. And I didn't get a cracked windshield until I came to Utah, and that's a common thing. And there's little, I don't know if you can see through the sunspots. That rust on the roof didn't start happening until I moved here to Utah. And the weird thing about this car is that the body spacing for the body panels, there isn't a single panel on this car that matches. And I think this weird dip in the doors is a factory thing trying to add curvature to the car, but no. If you look at this, the trunk, this is the factory trunk. It's never been touched. The gap changes. That's all factory. It's the weirdest thing. I had a friend in California who was a taxi driver. And I took it to him. I said, "What's up with this car? Is this one of those legendary cars that fell off a train and somebody bought it at auction and fixed it up?" And he looked at the car all over because he's heard of the same thing before. And he said, "Nope, that's the way it came." But you can see the difference in the trunk gap. I mean, I don't know what was going on that way at that day at the Ford factory, but every single panel has a different gap, and you can see it just by looking at it. And it's been wrecked. My fiance was driving in the rain, and the Crown Vics had this nasty thing with the traction control, is they tend to whip when you step on the gas. If the traction control's off, you can drift it. But when the traction control's on, the car will whip to the passenger side in the rear, and it's just not, it's not fun. But once you know what the car is going to do. So anyway, I've got the car in Salt Lake now, or actually northern Utah, I'll put it that way. And it's been a good car, still runs, still gets 23 miles to the gallon. People told me, "Get rid of it," and I'm like, it's a perfect car. I mean, look, even the rims are good. I've done the brakes once. I always use ceramic pads. I changed the spark plugs and the coils, and it ran 24 miles per gallon for a short while, but I didn't really do a lot of trips that year. But I don't know, I think it'd be kind of fun to get some head work done on it and put a 3000 stall converter, or maybe 355 gears, and it's got 323 gears, but it's geared inside the overdrive in this thing. I don't think you would see any difference in the gas mileage on it. And maybe put in an actual header exhaust. I don't want to advertise for somebody that is not going to appreciate it. So anyway, that's my Crown Vic. It was going to be airport ground transportation thing, but it ended up being my wife's car. She's not a car person, so she doesn't take care of it as well as I would, but that's normal. So when it got wrecked, I went on eBay and picked up a front valance and the grill and the headlights and the side lights for really cheap. I think I only paid under $180 for all the parts, and it's ready for a front suspension. But anyway, that's my Crown Vic. It's been a fun car. I've never even run it up to 110. I've heard that's where the speed limiter is set for on a stock car, but this thing's the LX, and it actually handles pretty well. The seats are a little bit grandpa-ish, but I don't know. Someday I might get rid of it, but not for now. I got pipe dreams for it. I want to be kind of a fun street sleeper, because they're kind of Crown Vics are famous for being a slug off the line, and all it takes is a 3,000 stall converter and a limited slip. Make sure the traction control is turned off so that the limited slip will work like it's supposed to. It's got a lot of room for bigger back tires. It looks like a total grandpa mobile sleeper. Yeah, it'd be a good street racer for in the local area for about 2 or 3 years. Just keep changing stuff slowly. But anyway, I like Crown Vics. I've liked this car. Anyway, and that's it. That's the story of the Crown Vic. Have a good day. Bye.